Namaskara. I'm starting a new series related to verbs and tenses. What I will do here is first I'm going to introduce to you 108 important spoken Kannada verbs. Then I will pick up 50 verbs from this. And then for each of these 50 verbs, I will provide the important tenses. And I call this as a drumbeat method. You will get to know why it's called a drumbeat method once you see the subsequent videos. Okay, so let's move on with the first video on the list of 108 verbs that are important for spoken Kannada. Okay, it's just a quick intro on the operators that operate on a verb. Okay, the operators are first most important operator is the participle. Participle is the first thing that operates on a verb. Okay, only after an participle operates on a verb you get a tense. Okay, so participle is a suffix that gets attached to the verb first, then you get tenses. Okay, so participles on their own they can exist. Participles can also help to create tenses. Okay, tense is a second suffix that gets added to the verb. Now besides that you have moods. Moods do not have any relationship with participle tenses. They indicate things like whether the infinitiveness or the imperativeness of the action, right? So the negativeness of the action, all this is provided by the mood. They are separate suffix that get added to the verb directly. They are not related to participles or tenses. Similarly, modals. Modals again don't get added to the verb. Instead, they are words that come after the verb, right? Madabeku, madabahudu, right? So the verb typically gets into an infinitive mood, and then you have a modal that attached to it. Madu, when you say mada, that mada is actually an infinitive mood. Okay, so if you want to understand more about infinitive moods, I have a separate video on completely on moods. There you will see the four types of infinitive moods, four suffixes used for infinitive moods. Okay, then we have adverbs. Adverbs also work on verbs. They give extra information about the verb. Then we have postpositions. We have seen a lot of postpositions in our videos. We have a postposition series. That is, postpositions are very similar to, I would say, modes or modals, right? They are basically suffixes that get added to give more um, meaning of the verb. Okay, so these are the operate. I'm calling these six things as operators that operate on a verb. Okay, let's move on. So starting from this slide, I'm giving the most important tenses that we need to know for spoken Kannada. The remaining tenses we don't have to know, or they are already what you call. You will be able to get those or deduce those tenses easily from this. Okay, and these are the most important tenses that are used in spoken Kannada. Simple present, simple past, present continuous tense, then you have present perfect tense and negative tense. Okay, now negative tense means madide, nanu madide means I did. Nanu madlilla, that lilla that that gets added to the mad, right? That lilla is your negative tense. So negative tense is also very important. Okay, now simple present, why it's important? Because it acts as a future tense and habitual future tense in spoken Kannada. What do you mean by habitual future tense? ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ದೇಳುತ್ತೀನಿ, right? It means every morning at 6 o'clock I wake up. ಎದ್ದೇಳು means to wake up. ಏಳು means to also wake up. ಏಳು is more like get up. ಎದ್ದೇಳು means to get up from to really wake up. Okay, so ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಆರು ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಓ ಕ್ಲಾಕ್ 6 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಎದ್ದೇಳುತ್ತೀನಿ. I will wake up. So this is a habitual action. ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. So here I say ಆಫೀಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. Actually, it is I have to say in future tense. Right, the pure future tense in Kannada, how it works is ನಾನು ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಹೋಗುವೆ. You should say the way is the suffix for future tense in true sense. Hoguvenu, actually, venu. So the if you watch any of those TV serials related to those itihasas and puranas in TV, Kannada TV serials, I mean, you will hear this pure future tense being used. Okay, but in spoken Kannada, the pure future tense is not used. So the simple present itself fills in for future tense and habitual future tense. Okay, so by using other words, you'll be able to, or even the context, you'll be able to figure out that it's actually a future tense that we are talking about. Nanu naale bartini. I will come tomorrow, right? Naale will already, this will already indicate. Or if you just say on the phone, Nanu bartini means I'm coming, I'm on my way, right? So it is again something that is present and future. So present tense fills in future tense and habitual future. That's why you need to learn present tense first. And this is also the simplest to learn. Then you have to learn the simple past. Simple past is an action that is fully completed. For example, Nanu Madide, an action that is already completed. It's also very useful because when in spoken Kannada, the simple past is used extensively. Then we have the present continuous. Nanu Kannada Kaliyutta Iddini, right? So present continuous is also important because that is also used very often in spoken Kannada. Now, past continuous can easily be deduced or obtained from present continuous just by changing the iru verb, because as you know, all the other than the simple tenses, all the other tenses are called complex tenses. These complex tenses are made up of two words. First word is a main verb, second word is your iru verb, right? And the iru verb tells you whether it's present, past, or future. And the continuousness of the first verb is given by the suffix utta, right? Madutta iddini, nodutta iddini. The madutta, nodutta will be the same regardless of whether it's present, past, or future. The present tense is applied, or present tense is indicated by the iru verb, which is the second part of the tense. Okay, madutta iddini means Madutta iddini means I am doing. If you say Madutta idde, I was doing, right? Madutta is still same. Idde changes to say past tense, past continuous. So getting past tense, past continuous from present continuous is very easy. So you just have to learn one continuous tense that is good enough. Similarly, perfect tense. Present perfect is the most commonly used, right? Present perfect is basically ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಮಾಡಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. So that Madu becomes Madi, right? And Madi iddini. I have done my homework. Nanu nanna homework ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Right? Have done is your present perfect. If you want to change that to had done, ನಾನು ನನ್ನ homework ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. If you say it is I had done my homework, right? So ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. I had done my homework, but somebody stole it from me, like that. So that's your past perfect. So you can easily get your past perfect from present perfect or by changing the iru verb. The first part will still be ಮಾಡಿ, no change. ನೋಡಿ. ನಾನು ಈ movie ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. I have seen this movie, right? Or you can say ನಾನು ಈ movie ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆ, right? I had seen this movie. Depending upon the context, past perfect and present perfect, they have different purpose, but present perfect is the most commonly used. Then you have the negative tense, very important, which I told you just now. I mentioned about it. A normal tense is called an affirmation. It's a statement, it's a positive statement. Any of this tense are called affirmations, right? They're affirmative. They're actually affirmative mood. By the way, tenses are also a mood. They are called the affirmative mood. Okay, just like how you have infinitive mode, imperative mode, tenses are actually affirmative mode, right? Now when you add a negative suffix to the verb, then you convert that to a negative tense. Okay, so negative tenses are also very important. You have one negative tense for each of this um, each of the tenses. So you have the 9 tenses. For the 9 tenses, you have one suffix for each of them. Okay, that's your negative tense. So if you look at our tense video, you will understand everything about negative tense. Okay, let's quickly move on. Okay, so important verbs. So starting from this slide, I will be giving just a list of all the verbs, important verbs. This is just to get you a feel of how the verbs in Kannada are put together, right? This is just to get you a feel. You don't have to remember them, you just have to be aware of them. If you remember them, well and good for you. But verbs, how you usually pick up is by more practice and more different context. The more different context that you learn, that's why I keep insisting on watching TV serials, because that gives you the real day-to-day life, what you call context. You'll be able to pick up verbs. Memorizing verbs is not really practical. Of course, you can practice them using the drumbeat method, which is what I'm going to talk about in my subsequent videos. So let's move on. So here I've given color code for different types of verbs. So in Kannada, how it works is most of the verbs are u ending. Madu, Nodu, Helu, Kelu, and they are regular. Okay, I've talked about regular verbs and irregular verbs in my verbs tutorial. Okay, so irregular are usually irregular in the past tense. Okay, so in the present tense and other tenses, the verbs are not irregular. All verbs are regular. Regular means you can easily apply a formula to get the tense. Irregular means you can't apply a formula for every irregular verb. The formula will change to get the tense. Okay, that's what regular and irregular. Okay, so yellow color is all u ending regular verbs, and this is the maximum number of verbs in Kannada. Then the green color highlight is a ending regular verbs. Nade. And in spoken Kannada, all a ending verbs will be converted to e. Spoken Kannada only, not in written Kannada. So nade will be is changed to nadi. Kare will be kari. Bare will be bari. But bare itself is a irregular verb. Okay. So bare bari. Okay. Bare means to write. Mm, no, bare is not a irregular verb. Sorry. So bare is still a regular verb, and bare will become bari. So basically, the rule for spoken Kannada is anything that is ending with a, nade, kare, bare will all become e ending. Just for spoken, not for written. Okay. Written is as it is used. Now the next type of verb in Kannada is the e ending verb, which is kudi, hidi, right? These are e ending regular again. All of these are regular verbs. Okay. Then the fourth type, which is these are all like rare anomalies. They are not very common, but the verb itself could be common. But there are only a very handful of such verbs, which are those one-letter verbs. Ka. Okay. What the grammarians have done is they've added u to it to make it into a u ending verb and make it as ka you. Right? Ka is the actual root verb. Kayu means to wait. Okay, then on kayu they will say kayuttini, kaita iddini, like that. Okay, I had been waiting, right, for a long time, like that. So that's ka. Then sa. Okay, again the u is added, sa you, to die. Okay, ಸಾಯಲಿ ಅವರು ಸಾಯಲಿ, let him die, I don't care. Okay, ನನಗೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವರು ಸಾಯಲಿ, let him die, what do I care. So sayu is again taken from sa. These are rare verbs which are one letter verbs. So these are the four types. Of course there is the fifth type. Okay, and of course, this is the fifth type of verbs in Kannada, which is the irregular verbs. We know this. These irregular verbs, they are irregular in the past, and in the next slides we will have the list of all the verbs, all the 108 verbs. So I will use this color to indicate irregular verbs, the yellow color highlight. Okay, so let's just quickly go through these irregular verbs. Iru is to be. Okay, gotu is to gottiru. Gottiru is to know, to understand. So two other helping verbs can be used to gotu, can be attached to gotu. One is gottiru is got or gottagu. For example, nanage gottide. It means I knew or I know. Nanake gottide means I know. For example, if you want to say I knew it, right? I knew this will happen. Nanage gottittu. ನೀನು ಲೇಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀಯ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು. I knew that you will come late, right? So there you will say ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು, the iruva past tense. Okay, ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು. So this is one usage. Then if you use agu to say I understand. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, I understood. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, I have understood. Right? Agide is present perfect. Aitu is past tense. So you can use iru when you say gottiru, it means I know, to know. Gottagu is to understand. Okay, gottagide means I understood. Okay. Again, irregular verbs, the suffixes added to get the tense will change. You will not have a specific formula, even though iru is who ending. Gottu is who ending. Gottu by itself, you can say in colloquial form, you can say Nanage Gottu means I know. But the full form to say is Nanage Gottide. I know. Okay. Then you have the agu verb. Excuse me. Then we have the hogu verb. Then we have the baru verb. Hogu is go, baru is come, tinu is eat, sigu is to get caught, get hooked. Sigu also means to get something. Okay. Then kodu is to give, nagu is to laugh, alu is to cry. Okay. So starting from the next slide, I will just be giving the names of verbs and their meaning. Okay. Annu, andukollu, anisu. Okay, these are very important again. Annu means to say. Okay, used very very commonly in TV serials. Yenande, yenanatiya, yenantiya. What do you say? So for all that, this annu is used. Andukollu means to assume, presume. It's like your mind voice. Okay, ನೀನು ನಾಳೆ ಬರುತ್ತೀಯಾ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದುಕೊಂಡೆ. I thought you will come tomorrow. The things that go on in your mind about some topic is all ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳು. Okay, it's not assumption. It's like a mind voice. Whenever you say in English, right? I thought you will come late. I thought you'll come to school. I thought you'll be on leave today. This I thought, right? Is all andukollu. So ನೀನು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ or ನೀನು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅಂದುಕೊಂಡೆ. ಅಂದುಕೊಂಡೆ. I thought. Okay. So, for example, if you don't say anything at all, what should I assume, right? I gave you an offer, I gave you a proposal, but you have not responded. What should I assume if you don't even respond? So how will you say that? So ನೀನು ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡದೆ ನೀನು ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡದೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If you don't say anything at all, what should I think? ನಾನು ಏನು ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, right? Or ನಾನು ಏನು ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ, not ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ, right? What should I think if you don't say anything? So these are the places where this ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳು is used, and when they in spoken form they'll just say ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳು. They won't even say ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳು. They'll just say ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳು. Okay. Then the next important verb will be the anisu. Okay. So for example, I think it will rain today. You know, the feeling that you get, right? Even though you say in English, you also say I think, right? But here, when you want to say I think it will rain, right? ಇವತ್ತು ಮಳೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತದೆ, right? Or you will just say in spoken form, it will just say ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಅನುಸ್ತದೆ. They'll just say ಅನುಸ್ತದೆ. It means I feel as if it's going to rain. I think it will rain, right? For example, another one is I think I'm full. When you're eating, you're saying you think you're full. There you will use anisu. You will not, for the think you will use anisu. You will not use ಅಂದುಕೊಳ್ಳು, right? ನನಗೆ full ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ. I feel that I'm full. I don't want more. Okay. So I feel that some visitor, some guest will come to our house, right? How will you say that? I think some guest will come to our house. Okay. ಏನಾದರೂ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸ್ತದೆ. I feel that somebody is coming to our house, right? These are all anisu. Even though in English you will still use the word I think, right? For andukulu also we use I think in English, but the context is different. For example, I have given example for this andukulu. So andukulu and anisu is very very commonly used. These three, annu, andukulu, anisu, are very commonly used in TV serials, movies, all this. So that's why I've highlighted in green. Then you have togollu, iskollu. There are two words for it. It means to take. Togollu is to take. Iskollu is more like somebody giving you and then you just grabbing it immediately, right? That's called iskollu. It's like very quickly taking something is called iskollu. Then haku is to put. This is put something on top of an existing object. Okay. For example, ಈ ಬಟ್ಟೆಯನ್ನು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕು. ಬಟ್ಟೆ is cloth. Take this cloth and put it on the table, right? It's like fit the cloth on the table. It's like a table cover kind of thing. There you will use haku. Okay, idu means to keep again, but it is different from put. Put and keep, right? Idu means to you have an object in your hand, keep it aside. Then you will say idu. Adannu alli idi. Keep it there, right? So putting something down, that will be idu. Haku and idu, that's the difference. Okay, then bisu is to throw. And bisu is not used on its own. It's always used with haku, bc haku. So here haku becomes an auxiliary verb. We talked about auxiliary verbs in a separate video. Throw away. Adannu bc haku. I don't need it. A paper annu bc haku. Throw away. Okay. Then kalisu is send. Send something or someone. Sending someone is also kalisu. Send something is also kalisu. Taru is to bring. Okay. Kollu and kollu or karidisu is to buy. Kollu is again a irregular verb. So kollu is to buy or karidisu is to buy. You can use any one of this to say you want to buy. Then maru means to sell. Okay. Again, maru is not used on its own. It's usually maratta madu. Maratta madu means to do selling. Okay. Maratta madu. Then you can start conjugating madu. For example, ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಬೈಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. I sold my bike. You don't directly use maru. You'll use ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. Okay. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಪುಸ್ತಕವನ್ನು ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. I will sell this book and give you, like that. So ಮಾರಾಟ ಮಾಡೋದು. Then you have bidu. I highlighted in yellow. It means it is irregular verb. Okay, irregular in the past tense. Okay, so bidu will become bitta. Okay, in past. Padu will become patta. So bidu means to leave. Padu is to experience, endure a feeling. Kashtapadu, santoshapadu. Right, so padu helps in. We have a video for padu where I clearly say how padu is used for expressing, making feelings into verb, making all the abstract nouns which represent emotion and feeling, making them into now into verbs. Padu is useful in that. Matadu is to speak. Then summaneiru is to be quiet. Okay, opposite of matadu, summaneiru. Then karekondu baru or karekondu hogu. This is very useful. Karkondu, they will say in spoken Kannada. It means to bring someone. See, to bring a thing, it's called taru, right? An object. If you want to bring, ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಲೋಟ ನೀರು ತನ್ನಿ, right? ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಲೋಟ ನೀರು ತನ್ನಿ means bring water, one glass of water for me. So that's an object you're bringing. Then you will say tanni. Okay, but if you want to bring a person who is waiting outside, ಅವರನ್ನು ಒಳಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. So bring that person inside. There you will not say ಅವರನ್ನು ಒಳಗೆ ತನ್ನಿ. You will not say ಅವರನ್ನು ಒಳಗೆ ತನ್ನಿ. You will say ಅವರನ್ನು ಒಳಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. Bring him inside. This is ಕರೆಕೊಂಡು. ಕರೆ means to call. It's a verb by itself. We will see it later. So sorry, we've already seen kare in the first slide, right? A ending verb. So karekondu baru, karekondu hogu means to bring someone. Karekondu banni means bring them here. Karekondu hogu means take them away, right? So karkondu is very important to understand. It's only used only for people, not for things. Things is taru. Okay, then beti agu is to meet. Okay, beti. Bhe is again mahaprana. So beti agu means to meet someone. ನಾನು ಅವರನ್ನು ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. I met him already. Right? I have met him. Then mare is to forget, irregular verb. Then again mare is not used on its own. It's always maretu hogu. Maretu hogu. So then you start conjugating hogu. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಮರೆತು ಹೋದೆ. Right? I forgot that my exam is today. Right, that's this maretu hode. Hogu will be conjugated. Okay, then yelu means to get up. Yeddelu is to wake up, get up. Then bilu is to fall. Elu bilu. Bilu means to fall. Again irregular. So it will be yelu will become yedda, bilu will become bidda. Okay, yelu become yedda, meaning past tense. Bilu past tense will become bidda. Then oppu is to agree. Shuru agu or shuru madu. Shuru agu means something, as already said. For example, program shuru agide. TV program shuru agide means TV program has started. If I want you to start something, okay, Karanu, no, not for example, if I want you to start something, what could be it? Let's see, ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾಡಿ is to ask you to start something. ಆಗು is that particular event is going to start. There you will use ಆಗು. ಶುರು ಆಗು, ಶುರು ಮಾಡು. And then ಉಳಿಸು is to save. Okay, ulisu is to save something. Ulisu is also can be used for something that is remaining. Okay, for example, swalpa anna ulidide. You will say there is a little bit more rice after our eating. After all of us ate, there is something remaining. So the remaining part of something is also called ulidadu. Okay, it is taken from this ulisu. But ulisu is to save something, save somebody. Okay, then Odu means to run, Adu means to play. It also means to act in a certain manner. It also means speak. Depending upon context, it will change, but generally Adu means to play. So hege ninu no why, right? Yake nivu hige adatiya is one way they will say. Yake, why? Nino, you, hige, like this. Adatiya. So here Adatiya, they are asking, why are you acting in a strange manner? Right? Why are you speaking like this? It could mean any of this. Right? There they will use Adu. But Adu means to play. The Nagu is to laugh, irregular verb. It's Nakka. Will be there, past tense. Then Suri is to pour something. Haru is to fly or jump. Okay, Kallananu Hari odida. Right? He jumped and ran away. Fly also is Haru, meaning the birds flying, right? That's also Haru. Hari is to tear. It also is to flow. Right? ನದಿ ಪರ್ವತದಿಂದ ಹರಿತಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, right? ಹರಿತಾ ಬರುತ್ತಿದೆ. So it means it is flowing and coming. So that's also Hari. Tearing a piece of paper, right, is also called Hari. Okay, then Aralu is to blossom. Flower blossoming is called Aralu. Then Uri, Sudu, it means to burn. Okay, hotte uri they will say. That is like a word obtained from this uri verb. Hotte uri means stomach burn. It means jealousy, right? Sudu is a verb for burning. Uri is also a word for burning. Like for example, kannu uritide, my eyes are burning because of the dust. Then they will say uri. Kannu uritide, right? Then muttu is to touch. Artha Madisu is to make someone understand. Madisu, Madu is to do. Madisu is to make somebody do. So again, this is in Kannada, how it works is when you add a su to a verb, any verb, it means making somebody do that action. Tinnu, tinnisu. Tinnu is to eat. Tinnisu is to make somebody eat, which means to feed, right? Taru is to bring. Tarisu means to make somebody bring. Okay, so for example, in the hotel, they will say, okay, so ಏನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಿ? I mean, what will you take? Coffee ತರಿಸಲಾ, they will say. Coffee ತರಿಸಲಾ. Taru is to bring. Tarisala means, shall I make somebody bring coffee? So tarisu, tarisla. Coffee tarisla means, I will make somebody bring coffee. Meaning the person who is waiting on you, the waiter. Right? So the su is added in Kannada to make somebody do something. Nodu, nodisu. Nodu is to see. Nodisu is to make somebody see. Right? Kanu is to see. Kanisu is to make something appear. That's called Kanisu. Right? To make somebody see something. That's Kanisu. So the su ending verb, the su suffix is for making somebody do the action that you're talking about. Okay? Yele means to pull. Then Ottu, Tallu. Ottu means to push. Okay. So Ottu is to push. Tallu is also push. From Ottu you get this pressure with Ottade, right? Ottade means okay. Kelsa Ottade tumba ide. Work pressure is I have a lot of work pressure. That's called Ottade. Ottade is pressure, and it is obtained from this Ottu. Okay. Then Ili is to get down from a bus, from a bike. Hattu is to climb on a bike, on a horse, on a stool, something that is low height thing is called hattu. Yeru means to climb a tree or a mountain, something that involves more steps that you have to take to climb, then that's called Yeru. So there are two words in Kannada, one is called Hattu, other one is called Yeru. Then Bichu means to unfold a cloth or untie a rope. It's called Bichu. Okay. Then Hanchu is to share something. You want to share an information, share food, everything is called Hanchu. Then you have Kadu. Kadu is to mean is to haunt. Okay, haunt or even taunt. Okay, say for example, if you're feeling guilty about something, that thought is haunting you or taunting you, that's called Kadu. Okay. Kadu as a noun means forest. Kadu as a verb means to taunt or haunt. So this is one word that is all both a noun and a verb. Okay, Kadu. Okay, then Hachu is to light. Very important word. Verb Hach is to light a lamp. It also means to attach oneself to something. ನನ್ನ ಮಗನು ನನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಹತ್ತಿರ ತುಂಬಾ ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. He is very attached. My son is very attached to my wife. ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ ಹತ್ತಿರ ತುಂಬಾ ಹಚ್ಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದ. He is very attached to her. That's also ಹಚ್ಚು. Lighting a lamp is also ಹಚ್ಚು. ದೀಪವನ್ನು ಹಚ್ಚಿ. Okay, then it means light the lamp. Then sarisu is to move aside. Okay, if you are asking somebody to move, right? Swalpa sarisi, you will say swalpa akade sarisi. Akade means that side. You're asking people to give you way, right? That's sarisu. Okay, to move something from one position to another is also called sarisu. Then haradu is to spread something, right? Spreading the wings, spreading items on the floor, right? That's all haradu. Then tumbisu is to fill a container with water or anything. For example, you can even fill your heart with love, right? That is also tumbisu. Then kattu is to tie. Kattu has got two meanings. One is to tie, like tying a rope, a knot. That is also kattu. If you want to build a building, that's also kattu. When you're constructing a building, that's also kattu. Then bare, I talked about bare bari. Bare is to write. Okay, the spoken form of bare will be bari. Then odu is to read or to study, right? Odu. Remember, odu is to read or study. Odu is to run. Okay, malagu is to sleep or lie down. Okay, nidde madu is also used for sleeping. Then nindukollu is to stand. Okay, nillu rightfully is to stop. Nillu means to stop. Nindukollu is always used to ask somebody to stop or ask somebody to stand. Stop and stand are same. Then kutkollu means to sit, asking somebody to sit. Then tege will become tegi in spoken form. It means open. Muchu means to close. Typically a door. Door means bagilu. Torisu is to show. Okay, torisu means show. Show something like a book or whatever. Book or anything. Then bachidu. Bachidu is to hide something. Okay, if you have an object and if you want to hide it, then it's called bachidu. Okay, yochisu is to think. Okay, ಕಳೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳು is to lose something. So ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಳೆದುಕೊಂಡೆ, or ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸು ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಗಿದೆ. So this kale is the actual verb and it never is used on its own. It's always used along with a helping verb like ಕೊಳ್ಳು, ಹೋಗು. ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸನ್ನು ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಗಿದೆ. So the hogu will be the one that will be conjugated, right? So that's your kale. Actual verb is kale. Okay, means to lose something. Then huduku is to search. Okay, kandu hidi is to find. Again, this is two verbs. Hidi becomes your helping verb or auxiliary verb, right? Kandu hidi is to see and catch. Literally, that's what it means. Kandu hidi. Kanu is to see. Kandu is the past participle of it. So kandu hidi, past relative participle. So kandu hidi, right? See after seeing and catch, which means to find. Okay. Then woge and tole. Okay, woge means to wash clothes. Washing clothes has got a specific word. It's called oge, right? Washing any other thing, your hands, utensils, whatever is called tole. Oge and tole. Then we have ishtapadu. Ishtapadu is to like. Again, ishta is the abstract noun. Padu is added to make it into a verb. Means to like. Ishtapadu. Kashtapadu is to go through difficulty. Then kali is to learn. So nanu kannada kaliyutta iddini. right? And it's a irregular verb, which means if you say I learned Kannada, right? Past tense, so it will be kalite. Nanu Kannada kalite. Ta will come. That's why it's irregular verb. Nanu Kannada kalite. Nanu hoda varsha, last year Kannada kalite. I learned Kannada last year, but not this year, like that. Okay. Then kitkollu. Kitkollu means to grab, snatch from somebody is called kitkollu. Then ganisu is to count. Okay. Seris is to add, mix. Kale again here is to subtract. So we saw this kale on its own means to lose, right? But kale, if you just use it as it is, it means to subtract. Whereas if you use it along with a helping verb, kaledu hogide, kaledu, what you call kaledu kolde, kaledu kollu, right? That in those places it means to lose. But kale by itself, if you use it means to subtract. Then the badisu is to serve food. Okay, this is also very important. Not many people won't know. When you serve food to others, that's called badisu. Specific word. Then aike madu means to select, to choose. Then hode is to beat or hit. It's called hode. Then jagala madu means to fight or a quarrel. It's called jagala madu. Then sattu hogu is to die. So we talked about sai, right? On its own, it is not used. Sattu hogu is how it is used. Hogu is used as a helping verb to say die. Alate madu is to measure. Alate means to measure, right? So alate madu is always said together. Alate, ale is to, it means to measure. Okay, alate is measurement. Okay, alate. Alate madu means measurement, do measurement. So it's always the verb is used in this manner instead of ale as it is. Then huri is to roast or fry. Okay, so there is one more word called curry. Curry is to actually deep fry. Huri means just to roast. Okay. For example, coffee beans. You will do a huri on coffee beans. Whereas if you're making a puppet, right, the South Indian puppet that you may have had in Adyar Anand Bhavan or or anywhere Saravana Bhavan, in any of these places, if you have the South Indian meal, they will give you the puppet, which is the South Indian puppet, which is actually fried in water. It's fried in oil, deep fried in oil. So that deep fried frying is called curry. Huri is for roasting. Sometimes it'll be used for fry, but huri is usually used for roasting. So huri is for roasting like coffee beans. Curry is for roasting the South Indian puppet in oil. Okay. Then kattarisu is to cut. Typically vegetables and all is kattarisu. Right. Then kachu is to bite. By the way, kattarisu is only for cutting vegetables, like vegetable paper is all kattarisu. Say for example, if you're chopping um, a tree, that's you're using an axe to chop, which is like a much bigger cut, right? That is not kattari. So that will be, I think it's called kaddu or something. Okay, it's called kaddu. So kattari is usually for cutting vegetables and small things. Then kachu is to bite. Yettu is to lift. Okay, yettu is to lift an object. Then ಆಚರಿಸು is to celebrate. ಆಚರಿಸು is to celebrate a function. ಹಬ್ಬ ಆಚರಿಸಿದೆ or ನನ್ನ ಮಗನ ಹುಟ್ಟ ಹಬ್ಬ, right? ಹುಟ್ಟು ಹಬ್ಬ, actually not ಹುಟ್ಟು ಹಬ್ಬ ಆಚರಿಸಿದೆ. ಹುಟ್ಟು means to be born. We will see that verb. I think I have included that. ಹುಟ್ಟು is to be born. So ಹುಟ್ಟು ಹಬ್ಬ means birthday. ಆಚರಿಸಿದೆ, we celebrated. I celebrated. Then ರೇಗಿಸು is to tease. To tease is called ರೇಗಿಸು. Right, to pull somebody's leg is all called ರೇಗಿಸು. Then ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡು is to spend. ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡು. Then ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡು is to destroy. Is ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡು. Then ದಾಟು means to cross. Okay, cross a river, cross a road is all called ದಾಟು. Then ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡು means to compel, persuade. ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡು means to persuade. ಬೈಯು means to scold. ಬೈಸು means to desire. So this is why it is very important to learn the Kannada script if you don't want to get lost or say something incorrectly. See, Bayu and Bayisu are very, very closely, the sound, it sounds very similar. So you have to be careful. Bayu means to scold. Bayisu means to desire something. Then, this is Huttiru. This is Huttiru. This is what I was talking about, to be born. Right? Huttu Iru. just like gottu. This is similar to gottu. It cannot exist on its own, right? When you say huttiru, then it means to be born. So you will say ನಾನು ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ ಮಾಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದೆ, right? ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, right? ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. No, you will say I was born in September month, right? Of a given year, like that. So ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ. Or you will say ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. Actually, correctly, how people use this, ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ, right? I was born in Mysore. ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು, that iddu they will use, right? ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ. That iddu comes because of that it is iru verb. Huttu cannot be used on its own because it's a noun. Similar to the other one that I said, um, ಗೊತ್ತು, very similar to ಗೊತ್ತು. Then hintirugu is to return from somewhere or return an object, is called hintirugu. Okay. Nibaisu is to manage, cope with something, right? An adversity or a tough situation, right? So ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಜನರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಗಾದರೂ ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಬೇಕು. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಜನರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ means in the house there are 10 people. Somehow I have to manage, meaning I have some visitors coming into the house. I have to manage the house, right? ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಬೇಕು. So for example, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ, say it is very late in the night, somebody needs to drop you in your house, then you say don't worry, I'll manage. If you want to say ನಾನು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ, there this ನಿಭಾಯಿಸು is used. It means I'll adjust, I'll manage, I'll cope with a situation. You don't have to worry. It's called nibaisu. Then sahisu means to tolerate. Okay, that is the last verb of this 108 verbs. So please go through this video again so that you can read it yourself. I've given the Kannada script, English script, and English transliteration and the English meaning. So it's easy for you to pause and then read it. Okay, you don't have to remember this, just be aware of it, because it's difficult to remember 108 verbs just like that. Okay, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. I will follow up this video with individual tenses for the best, most important 50 verbs. Okay, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.